I thank you for the opportunity to address your institute, and it's my first opportunity to congratulate you since you got your charter under Act number 3 of 2018. And I think you are one of the greatest achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari. What's important about meeting with you today is that the future of civilization is about project management. The life that we live itself is a project. You have to manage your life well. And our country, the success, whether it's big, modest, or disappointing, regarding our development, is based on how we have managed projects. Nigeria itself was a project of Royal Niger Company. They sat in London, and they looked at this hemisphere, and they saw many great civilizations that are interconnected, joined together by 2 rivers. They have access to the sea, they have farmlands, they have lakes, and they met in London and said, maybe we should make a project and create these people and make them a country. And the Royal Niger Company under Tubman Goldie came and did the planning. Because you know you are involved in project management when you initiate an idea. And then that idea becomes very interesting, and you plan that idea. And then other people see the plan, and they join you to execute the idea. And you monitor the idea, you control the idea. Before you know it, the idea itself takes a life of its own. And since then, we've managed so many other things. When the project was well managed, then the British government took interest and said, no, this project of Nigeria is too big for a company. And they called the Royal Niger Company and paid them off and bought Nigeria from them, and Nigeria became a British protectorate. In the process, to make that one project of Nigeria to come to pass, many other projects, mini projects, were also undertaken. For example, we started the railway. And if you read the New York Times, when they started Nigeria Railway Service, they said it was a very hilarious idea because they were telling workers, don't come because you'll be eaten by hyenas and wild animals. But the Nigerian Railway was built. After that, if you look at recent times, if you go to Lagos, the way Lagos is today is not the work of nature only. If you are joining around Bonny Camp from Monicon, that place was not there before. There was a young officer called McGregor. It was McGregor who said, look, with all the water in Lagos, I can actually create a canal which is going to ease the water so that the Bar Beach doesn't get eroded. At the same time, I can give access to Ikoyi. That's how it was created. So when you look around, imagine if you were born 20 years ago, somewhere in Gariki, in Abuja, you would think that Abuja has always existed. But Abuja was the brainchild. It was a concept, it was a project. And that project became law in 1976, and subsequent leaders started developing on it. And here we are in Abuja today, hosting the headquarters of the Chartered Institute of Project Management. It shows to us that we can get it right. And why it's important for us to support your institution and to use you as a platform, there are 5 reasons. 1, project management has metrics. I remember in my younger days, I studied a course called Operational Research. Because with Operational Research, you can find mathematical and analytical tools to know whether something is working out, is not working out for decision making. So the most important thing is that, number 1, with project management perspective, we can answer many of the problems that we're facing in governance. Because you can know, 1, from the appropriation of money and the development of manpower and the use of resources, you can know whether this government is a success or not, based on project management analytical techniques. It's not a question of whether I belong to your party or not. You will say no. you spend this amount of money, an amount of time, and use of these other resources to manage this project, what have you achieved based on what we set out to achieve at the beginning? And it's on that basis you will look at projects like Ajaokuta, for example, which was conceived in our first National Development Plan, 1960 to 65. How is it that we could not finish Ajaokuta? Yesterday, 2 days ago, we went to bury Paul Unongo, the Minister of Power and Steel, who did the most work on Ajaokuta. And last time I saw him before he died in Jos, before he became too ill, we were discussing. And he came all the way from America. How is it? And he said, Ajaokuta, he thought in the life of Shagari's administration that we were already producing steel. He's surprised now that 50 years thereafter, we have not done anything. So you here are the only people who can discuss it dispassionately. Because if I mention it, it will be SDP versus APC versus PDP versus NPN. No. But you who are project managers, you can say, look, why is it that we had the money, we had the technology from the Russians, we had the political will, we had the investment over time, right from Balewa up to Shagari, and we couldn't finish it. And up to now, we have not finished it. If you look at Ikorabasi, our aluminum smelter, if you look at Shogbo's rolling mill, Delta Steel, if you look at other things we've embarked upon as a country, you ask yourself, why is it that we could build a Papa Wharf and the Papa Keys and Roro, we started Warri Port, we Alaja Port, all these other ports, what happened to them? Why is it that we were trying to do Barrow Port? We were thinking of doing project management of the dredging of River Niger over the years. We've not been able to do that. So when you count all of these things that we have as projects, if your institute help us to understand why we have not been able to succeed in most of them, and some of them which we have succeeded, if you cannot let us understand, you will have assisted us. Second thing you will do for us is to train project managers. Many of the criticisms that I give to government, I always conclude it by measuring their executive capacity. So sometimes we disagree whether we should float our currency or we should fix it, whether we should have a capital market run the economy for us in terms of non-poor or weak regulation, or whether we should do state management. All of these methodological differences or ideological differences rest on executive capacity. Because if country A decides to be a market economy, if they have the executive capacity to execute it, they will be a market economy. If a country B, like China, decides to be a planned economy, if they have executive capacity to be a planned economy, they will succeed. So ideological fights over development is obsolete. What's more important now is having executive capacity. The third point I will emphasize upon before I leave here is we must develop cadre. We must have institutional memory. And we must be able to connect those who have managed projects, whether they succeed or fail. If you see anybody who has managed projects, for example, I knew when we were doing Delta 4. I don't know those who are familiar with NEPA. I think one of the largest projects they did before they started to go down was Delta 4 under President Babangida. Earlier than that, before they became NEPA, where they were Electricity Corporation, they had done Egbin Power Station, they had done the power station at Ido, but Delta 4, after Delta 4, NEPA started going down to the point where President Obasanjo came and turned them to PACN, eventually they got sold. But if you go to people who have managed projects like Folúṣọ̀kẹ́ Ṣómólú, like Dan Epele, like so many other engineers, and you talk to them, you will see that whether they succeeded or not, there's an abundance of lessons to learn on project management. And younger people who are coming will now understand why we are where we are. The fourth thing you will do for us is standardization. Because project management is about standards. And if you do not have standards, you will see it will reflect in our housing, in our roads, if you go around different parts of Nigeria, we have no Nigerian road design standard. Even in Abuja, you'll see a road that is well paved with marking and everything, and then you go towards another road, you see completely different. No marking, no shoulder, no nothing. Now, everybody will understand that if you have standard, then if I'm measuring your standard or measuring your performance based on the standard, I am not biased. The last point I will make, which is very important, is that project management is interdisciplinary. So whether you are a lawyer, you are a priest, you are an engineer, you are a quantity surveyor, whatever you are a finance person, we all meet in project management. Before I enter politics, I spent most of my life as an investment lawyer in New York, Singapore, London, everywhere. And all I've done most of my life is project management. And in project management, the most important skill is the skill of coordination and harmonization and communication. Because if you say you are a good mathematician, even if a team that is well run doesn't have a mathematician in-house, they will hire the best mathematical firm to do the work for them. But ability to coordinate, and that's where I will now go back to my current field, which is politics. The president of Nigeria has to be a member of this institute because Nigeria is a project. And project management is what the country needs. And the project of Nigeria is contained inside our constitution. What kind of country we want to be, the aim we will have our nation, including the one we recited in our national anthem and our national pledge. And the president is the project manager because it is not his house, it's not his country, it's not his family, belongs to all of us. He is an employee who is given a limited time. And I said it recently to government, I said the greatest mistake politicians make is that in politics, there's no eternal life. Eternal life only exists in religion. So however powerful you are, maximum you can do now in our terms is 8 years. And even if you are a dictator like some of our neighbors, the maximum you can do is your lifetime because dead people don't rule people. Therefore, we must be time conscious and we must manage resources well. And the president of the country, the ideal president we're going to have, will not have east, west, north, south. It will not have Christian, Muslim, or anything. It will have projects. It will see that I have to feed children. I have to create a justice system that works. I have to make my people to be productive. I have to ensure that there's continuity and that Nigerian spirit, Nigerian identity is replicable, is duplicable, which is part of the scientific aspect of project management. You must be able to have many members of the team and other people who are stakeholders to be able to understand the mission, to identify the resources, and to be able to carry on and achieve the goal. And I believe that the goal of Nigeria is a just society where we do not have poverty and insecurity, and we do not have disunity, and everyone feels that he has the same opportunity as his fellow Nigerians. So I will continue to be in touch with you, and I wish you a successful conference, and I pray that the Project Nigeria is successful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Regis. Thank you.